up, everybody? Mark is back. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Let's see. It is a little snowy here right now in upstate New York. Plow truck in front of me. Just pulling off. Look at that. Boom. So, hey, I did a speech the other night, and I was talking about bean counters. Bean counters in organizations and the proper place for bean counters. I've seen some really good businesses get ruined from bean counter mentality. And what is bean counter mentality? Well, first of all, bean counters are good. Bean counters are necessary for businesses. Bean counter is somebody who is so strict that has, okay, we have this much money for that. We have this much money for that. You're spending too much money on that. Let's pull the reins back on that. So that's good in a way. That is really good in a way. But if a bean counter, the person in the organization, if this bean counter can have full run of the business, then that's a bad thing. Listen, I worked at the Greenbrier Hotel, the Broadmoor Hotel. These two iconic mobile, now Forbes, 5-star properties. I don't know if the Greenbrier ever got their 5th star back, but the Broadmoor has had 5 stars since 1960 for mobile. Very second hotel to get the 5-star award. The Biltmore was the first one in 1959, but the Broadmoor's held it every year since. The Greenbrier had it from 1960 to 1997, 98, something like that, 99, somewhere in there. So these iconic hotels provided the utmost experience with service. We, as new employees, would come in and we would go through this whole orientation. The Broadmoor, you'd have to work do orientation for a week before you're allowed to get in contact with a guest, allowed before you go into your job, things like that. And this is back, folks, in the mid-early 90s. I can guarantee you that a bean counter was not in charge of that right there. However, that hotel runs a profit, and they had budgets, and they had targets. The chef was put under pressure on certain things. I mean, doing massive numbers but making a massive profit. But on the other hand, spare no expense when it comes to providing guest satisfaction, customer service. When it comes to that, uncompromisable service, all right? So that organization has bean counters, but it's also not run by a bean counter. There was one distributor that I used to buy from a lot more than I do these days. And this distributor, I would call them and say, hey, the basil was bad today. And instead of them saying to me, take 50% credit, or how much do you think, certain distributors right now that I buy from, if I call them and say, hey, the basil's bad, or the basil, 50%, half the basil's bad, or this, that, or the carrots, a few of them are, they'll say, hey, show me a picture and tell me what you think you're going to use, and I'll adjust your bill. Well, there was one distributor several years ago that in that situation, they would say, send it back, I can't give you anything unless you send the whole thing back. Now, meantime, as a restaurant owner, as in the restaurant industry, if I order basil for Tuesday, chances are I need basil for Tuesday. I don't have time, or a distributor can't get basil to me again on Tuesday. So at that point, it's crucial that I have that basil, or 10% of that basil to use that night, and then the next day I can order more. Well, this distributor was like, well, I'm not going to give you credit unless you send all of it back. All of it back. You should have refused it, this and that. That is bean counter mentality. So what happens in that bean counter mentality of a distributor, a food distributor like this, is as a chef, as a restaurant owner, I'm not going to order from them anymore. I know that, hey, I can't rely upon that company for produce. So I'm going to take my produce to somewhere else who's going to be no questions asked, provide best. We had carrots from a local farm that came in through a farm hub, and they were sitting in a warehouse, and they came in, and I was like, man, these carrots just aren't happening. I sent a picture to the sales rep, and the sales rep was like, oh my gosh, I am so embarrassed. I am so sorry. I cannot believe that these carrots made it past our quality inspections. I'll take it off your bill. Use what you can use. That was a conversation from just sending the picture and saying, hey, these are what the carrots look like today. The other distributor would have been like, send it all back. I'll give you credit, but you have to send it back and this and that. Folks, bean counters are detrimental. So, for example, in the marketing world, a lot of restaurants, bigger operations, have budgets for marketing. And that budget is $1,000 a month here or $5,000 a month here. We have these budgets to do this. And you need to stay within the budget. So here we go. If you place an ad, you do marketing, whether it's a Facebook bot, a Facebook ad, direct mail marketing, something. If you're doing something and you're getting a return on it to cover your expenses, there should be zero budget. For example, for me, for every postcard I send out for a birthday, it's a 34-to-1 return. I spend $1 on a postcard, I get back $34 per postcard that I send every dollar. Now, imagine if I only had a $100 a month budget for that. Only $100 a month. I stopped at 100 and said, that's it, only 100 postcards. That would be insane. That's like going to the casino, going to a slot machine that you know for every dollar you put in, you're gonna get back $2. It's a guarantee. This is guaranteed. This is the algorithm. This is what's happening. There's no losing. It's guaranteed. Imagine going with $100, putting $200 in your pocket after 30 minutes and saying, I don't have the budget to put more money into the register. Into the slot machine. No, you take your profits from there and you keep putting it in. You keep putting it in until that algorithm breaks. Now, $34 to 1 on postcards for birthdays, I get. I try to send as many as a month as possible. I don't have a budget. If you have your birthday, you're getting a postcard. That's the bottom line. You get a postcard. I got your birthday, you get a postcard. Plain and simple. Now, at a certain point, that algorithm will break because all marketers ruin everything, right? So at a certain point, I'm gonna hit where I max out everybody's birthday in my area, in my database, and new people coming into the pipeline aren't gonna be my ideal guests. They're gonna be a lower concentration, not as many coming in. So at a certain point, that algorithm will break. But until that algorithm breaks and it's performing for you, you keep putting the money in. Now, the bean counter mentality would say, that's it, Marcus. We spent our $500 a month on birthday promotions this month. We can't do any more. The very first country club I was a chef at, the bar manager, I was hired as executive chef. Within 3-4 months, I was promoted to the executive food director. I was 24 years old. I was promoted to the executive food director, and the maitre d', the dining room manager, and the beverage manager, bar manager, they all reported to me. And then I had a sous chef in the kitchen who then was promoted to chef de cuisine, and he took care of that, and I was the guy in charge of everything. They basically got rid of the food and beverage director. After 3 months of me being there, they realized he was a joke. And so they promoted me. And the bar manager, we had budgets because that's the bean counter mentality in a country club. We had to run very strict food costs, all this kind of stuff. I had to map everything out. It's good business, right? However, we were improving sales from the year before. This new team was improving sales. We were coming up with new ideas. We did a Titanic dinner. We were doing all these new things that were rock and rolling, and it was increasing business. And every single week, the bar manager would say to me, I'm out of money. I can't buy more booze. I'm like, what do you mean you're out of money? Well, the budget I did was I could only spend $560 this week because last year's sales for this week or this month was X amount. And if I'm running a 22% cost of goods in the bar, I only have $560 to spend, and I don't know what I'm going to skip this week. I'm like, you're not going to skip anything. You're going to buy everything. You're not going to tell guests, our clients, our members that you're out of something. You're not going to tell them you're out of something. Well, I don't have I said, listen, you can't run on your budget. We're busier than last year. You have to throw that out the window now. And this was so hard for her to understand because she came from a really corporate background through a chain restaurant that was really super strict. And I'm like, no, throw that out the window. We're busy. It's a good thing. We're breaking budget. Spend the money. Stay within the cost. Be the bean counter when it comes to sticking to that 22% cost of goods. But don't be the bean counter and not have stuff to sell. Being the bean counters, imagine walking into a bar. Imagine walking into a bar at your country club that you pay $50,000 initiation and a couple grand a month to be a member to, and you walk into the bar at your country club and you bring a guest in and you go, I'd like to order, Jack and Coke. We don't have Jack. We couldn't buy it this week. I ran out of money for the budget. How about, an apps? We ran out of that. We don't have that. I didn't have the money to buy it this week. No, that's a detriment to the business. That person, that member is going to be like, why did I join this country club? Or if you're a restaurant and you're not even paying a membership, the person's going to be like, well, I'll just go next door. I'll go across the street where they've got Jack Daniels, where they've got whatever it is, whatever products. I'll just go where they got it. Like, you're killing your business. And the bean counter mentality has to be on a very strict, in the corner, in the closet. The bean counter can't talk to everybody. The bean counter can't be the one in charge of customer service, client satisfaction. Imagine if the Broadmoor had that bean counter that was there on that week-long team member orientation. The bean counter would be like, I don't see a return in this. We can save money. We can do this. No, the idea is to provide impeccable service, and you provide impeccable service by spending money on certain things to train the team members, to train the staff. So, folks, bean counter mentality is great. So when you're running your food costs, when you're figuring out dishes, when you're doing that, when you're speccing things out, bean counter mentality. When you're providing customer service, when you're providing quality, understand that the most important thing to lose is a guest, a client. That company that I used to buy basil from, I don't buy produce from them. I barely buy anything from them because I don't want the hassles. I don't care if it's cheaper. I don't care if they're going to say, yeah, I'll save you 10, 15%. I don't want the hassle of trying to fight for a credit, of trying to be stuck without a product. Bean counter mentality, folks, because that person, that owner, that boss on that pound of basil distribution company saved money on that one transaction. Bean counter mentality is typical short-term gain, and that's it. Short-term, bean counter, you're done. You save money there, but the longevity, the growth of the business isn't there with bean counter mentality. So, folks, watch your money, but don't watch your money and watch your guest satisfaction. Those two go hand in hand, and make sure they don't get intermixed and don't get confused. All right, folks, hope that helps with that bean counter mentality. Go build a beautiful business. The restaurant industry is amazing. It's a lot of fun. It's my passion. It's my life. It doesn't feel like work. If you have not gotten a copy of my free book, go to 50mistakes.com, 50mistakes.com. Get the book. It's free. Pay a few bucks for shipping and handling. If you do the little upsell on the website there, you'll get a good handful of courses. And you'll get another book. It's not much more money, folks. It's don't be a bean counter when it comes to expanding your knowledge base and learning more. It's just, you can't be a bean counter in that. If there's one idea in that book, folks, if there's one idea in there, I can guarantee you will make thousands of dollars if you implement it and do it properly. If there's just one idea, you'll rock and roll on it. You'll make your money back. You don't have to worry about the $7-8 to ship it. You don't have to worry about the upsell. You could buy a lot more stuff from me if you just executed just one thing in there and not worry about, well, I don't know if that's, just do it, folks. That's it. Bottom line, just do it. Go get my book for free. Go watch my videos. There's not a bunch of stuff I don't even charge for. Go to my YouTube channel. Look at my business tips playlist. Go to 50mistakes.com. It's all there, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you later. Go build your beautiful business.